Okay,
Yeah.
Nicholas Sparks wrote both the books that inspired both of these movies.
Incredible name, first of all. I just
Yeah.
want to say, having the last name Sparks, you're destined for greatness.
It's almost like he wrote it
like,
himself.
yeah, maybe.
He penned the name.
Yeah.
I think what's most interesting about him to me is that he was actually really into track and field. Okay. And he got a scholarship to go to Northwestern, and then he hurt himself and he was like, I'm so depressed. And his mom was like, hey, get up and go write a book.
And look at him now.
And look at him now. And the
Wow.
first book he wrote was The Notebook. And if I had been depressed, I don't think that's what my mom would have said to me.
My
What
mom
would she
have
have
What would
said?
she have said? Yeah.
She would have been like, get a job.
Yeah, my mom would have been like, do laundry, like go do the dishes,
Go for a walk,
go peel some
maybe.
potatoes.
Yeah.
I feel like my mom would have said, I think you're fine. Keep running.
Depression's not
Mom,
real.
had a heartfelt conversation with
Nicholas
me.
Sparks' two top books were The Notebook and A Walk to Remember. And like since those two were made into movie, it's been a cascade of Nicholas Sparks movies. Like
They launched him.
yeah, The Last Song, Dear John, and all of them have incredible star power. Like Miley and Liam in The Last Song. Dear John, we have Channing Tatum and Amanda Seyfried. It just, there's so much star power in all of these movies. And every single one, like maybe they're not the biggest box office, but everyone's binging them, you know, on whatever streamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, those women
That's
are crying.
true.
They're watching.
He's also like, I feel like in watching interviews of him, he's like, has no, like writers are tortured and they like can't finish their books and like they're so stressed. Like he's not stressed at all.
Today I was listening to a podcast about dopamine, okay?
Okay.
And how there's a lot, one of the biggest addictions in the world is porn, right? But also for women, there's like, it's 10 to 1 men to women, but women get very addicted to romance novels and they're all formulaic. Like if you open to the middle of it, that's when like there's like a climax, and a lot of women like would just get to these climaxes and then like put down the book. And if you see all these movies, they have a very similar rhythm.
That's actually, I
Wow.
remember in my Christian college, this girl came into Bible study and she was like, I'm addicted to porn. And we were like, really? And she was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been watching a lot of rom-coms.
yeah.
She thought porn was like a rom-com. I was like, that's not porn.
I know, but
Yeah, I remember it.
It's porn for women in a way because it's like this sort of materialized idea of what a romantic relationship
It
should
is.
look like.
Sure. I mean, that scene, we'll get into it, but there's a
Wow.
scene in The Notebook. A lot of the scenes in Nicholas Sparks movies, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Light
It's
a
intense.
candle. Let's get into it.
I
yeah,
wanted
so
more sex, but that's just
You
me.
wanted
Wait,
more.
before we move on, what is the formula of a Nicholas Sparks story? Like, what are the ingredients?
Guy comes from this side of town. One girl comes from very Romeo and Juliet,
Well,
right? They come
yeah.
from different tracks.
Sure.
And they're not supposed to be together, and they have to overcome something in order to be together. They come together, there's some conflict, then they have sex, and then they're like, they get
Not
spread apart.
always.
Or they
Not
have,
always.
they have quote unquote sex. They kiss.
Sure.
They grind, whatever you're into. Okay. And then they're separated by society once again. And then at the end, they come together.
I feel like
No pun intended.
there's
Isn't that
gotta
life?
there's gotta be a little tragedy in there, I think.
Yeah,
when
the
it comes to
conflict.
like Nicholas
Yeah.
Sparks. Somebody
Yeah.
gotta die.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's tragedy. Someone's coming back from war. Okay.
It's
In
just
A
that-
Message in
Dear
a
John.
Bottle, she literally finds a message in a bottle and then tracks this dude down. Like, kind of,
That's
you've got
stalker,
male
stalker.
vibes, honestly.
Yeah, that's
It's also, though, life, if you will. You know?
The circle of,
Is
if you
it?
will.
I think so. I think that ultimately movies and books are based on life. And I think that a lot of the stuff he was writing about was kind of experiences that he was having.
Kind of like The Last Song with Miley Cyrus
God
and
bless
and
Miley.
Liam.
yeah. I've never seen that
Liam
one, but I
Hemsworth.
should because
Turtle.
You should. Oh my
boy.
God.
Yeah. That's
The
when they fell in
turtles.
love.
Yeah.
They're definitely, here's the thing. Nicholas Sparks writes a good rom-com. They're definitely cheesy at
timeless.
times.
Timeless.
Female porn.
There's
the dialogue
something.
is
There's
kinda
definitely
crazy.
something.
Yeah.
So, Monica, you've read The Notebook.
I have read the
And
Notebook.
have you read any other Nicholas Sparks?
I think I've read Message in a Bottle and maybe I think I've read The Vow also. Yeah.
They're soothing. They're satisfying. They're like a little pacifier.
Yeah, they're easy reads
Yeah.
for sure. And
The font's
and
like this big.
The other interesting thing is like, you know how a lot of movies movies that get adapted from books, like they change them a lot, right? Or they like a lot of the details from his books are kept like exactly because the fandom
love
is so
that.
crazy. Do you know what I mean? Versus like, I feel like not a lot of people are normally like happy with a movie adaptation of a book.
No, it's
but
like
I
That's
feel
the book
like
is
true.
always
a
better.
lot of
That's
people
true.
like love the
Yeah.
Nicholas Sparks movies, which I think is
I
interesting.
know when I saw it, I was like, this is so different than the book.